lasted barely 3 seconds. 3 seconds that silenced the table behind her, froze the man in front of her, and turned a reckless joke into something that couldn't be undone. Emma Collins felt it immediately, the sudden shift in the air, the way the space around them tightened, as if the bar itself had leaned in to watch. Her lips had barely brushed his before she pulled back, already laughing, already ready to retreat and declare victory. But the man didn't laugh, didn't move, didn't even blink. He stood there, tall and impossibly solid, his body blocking the glow of the neon sign behind the bar. His shoulders were wide, his chest broad, his arms thick in a way that wasn't decorative. It was the kind of strength that didn't need to show off, the kind that warned instead. Emma's smile faltered. For a heartbeat, she wondered if she had crossed a line she couldn't see. "You okay?" she asked quickly, her voice lighter than she felt. His eyes finally lowered to her face. Gray, cold, focused. They didn't roam. They didn't soften. They locked onto her like she was something he needed to understand before reacting. "You did that on a dare," he said. It wasn't a question. Emma swallowed, suddenly aware of how close he was. She nodded. "Yeah, just a stupid game." The bar around them kept moving. Music pulsed. Someone laughed too loudly. A glass shattered somewhere behind them. He placed one large hand on the counter beside her, not touching her, but close enough that she felt trapped by his presence alone. His other hand stayed relaxed at his side. "You shouldn't let people push you into things," he said calmly. She lifted her chin. "I wanted to." That earned her something new, not a smile. Interest. He studied her for another long second, then stepped back, giving her space as if he'd never blocked it in the first place. "Be careful," he said. That was all. Emma didn't wait for more. She turned quickly and walked back to her friends, her heart beating faster than it had any right to. Behind her, Dominic Russo watched her go, and he didn't look away. An hour earlier, the night had felt harmless. The bar was crowded and loud, the kind of place where the air stayed warm no matter how cold it was outside. Laughter bounced off the walls, and every table was packed with people pretending tomorrow didn't exist. Emma leaned against the booth, her cheeks flushed, her ponytail slipping loose as she laughed. Her glass was half empty again. She hadn't meant to drink this much, but it had been one of those weeks, the kind that deserved forgetting. "To surviving another month," Chloe announced, raising her drink. They all cheered. Maya leaned closer to Emma, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "Okay, truth or dare?" Emma groaned. "No, absolutely not." "Dare," Chloe said immediately. "You always say dare." Emma hesitated, then sighed. "Fine. Dare." Chloe's grin spread slowly. "I dare you to kiss the most serious guy in this bar." Emma followed her gaze. The man stood alone at the bar, his back straight, his posture calm in a way that didn't match the chaos around him. He wasn't on his phone. He wasn't flirting. He wasn't watching the TV overhead. He was simply there, tall, broad, still. He looked like he didn't belong in a place like this, and like no one would dare tell him that. Emma snorted. "Him? He looks like he might throw me out." "Exactly," Maya said. "That's why." Emma laughed, but her eyes stayed on him. Up close, she noticed details she hadn't from across the room. The fitted dark shirt stretched across his chest. His forearms were thick, veins visible when he shifted his weight. His jaw was sharp, clean, his hair neatly cut. He didn't look bored. He looked alert. "This is a terrible idea," Emma muttered. "But you're going to do it," Chloe said. Emma finished her drink in one long gulp, feeling warmth spread through her chest. "It's just a kiss." She slid out of the booth and made her way to the bar, her steps steady despite the buzz in her head. Up close, the man was even taller than she expected. She had to tilt her head back slightly to meet his eyes. She didn't give herself time to think. She leaned in and kissed him. The contact was brief, light, almost innocent. And yet, the moment it happened, Emma felt something change. Not sparks. Weight. Like gravity had shifted slightly off balance. She pulled away first, her breath catching just a little. Sorry, she said automatically. Dare. For a split second, she thought he might say something sharp, something angry. Instead, he just watched her, and that was somehow worse. She backed away, turning quickly and returning to her friends, forcing a laugh as if nothing strange had happened. But she felt it, the way his eyes stayed on her. Dominic Russo hadn't come to the bar for company. He was finishing a call when he noticed her laughter cut through the noise around him. It wasn't loud, it wasn't forced, it was real, and it didn't try to impress anyone. When she approached him, slightly unsteady but determined, he sensed the challenge before she ever touched him. The kiss caught him off guard, not because of the act, but because of the reaction it stirred. The warmth lingered. The softness surprised him. The way she met his eyes afterward, unashamed, curious, stayed with him long after she stepped away. He watched her for the rest of the night, the way she laughed with her whole body, the way she leaned into her friends when she listened, the way she checked her phone, frowned briefly, then smiled as if she'd decided whatever was there could wait. She wasn't calculating. That made her dangerous. Emma tried to forget the moment. She danced, she laughed, she drank water. She told herself she was imagining things. But every time she glanced toward the bar, she felt his presence before she saw him. At one point, she felt it behind her. "You okay?" he asked. She turned, startled, her heart jumping. He was close again. Close enough that she could smell something clean and subtle on him. Not cologne, just him. "Yes," she said. Yeah." He nodded, glancing toward her table. "Your friends look like trouble." She laughed. "They are." A pause. "Dominic," he said, extending his hand. She hesitated, then took it. His grip was firm but controlled, warm in a way that made her aware of her own pulse. "Emma." He repeated her name once, quietly. Something tightened in her chest. "I didn't take offense," he said. "I didn't think you did," she replied. "You looked calm." His mouth curved slightly, not quite a smile. "I noticed you didn't ask for my number." She raised an eyebrow. "I noticed you didn't offer it." "A beat." "Fair." Her phone buzzed in her hand. Chloe's name flashed across the screen. "We're leaving, now." Emma sighed. "I should go." He stepped back immediately. "Of course." She took a few steps, then stopped. "Sorry again," she said, glancing over her shoulder. "For what?" he asked. "For kissing you." "It wasn't a mistake," he said evenly. Her breath caught. Then she turned and walked away. Dominic watched her leave the bar, her laugh trailing behind her, her presence lingering long after she was gone. He didn't follow her. He didn't stop her, but he memorized her. And as the door closed behind her, one thought settled in his mind with dangerous clarity. This wasn't over, not even close. And Emma Collins had no idea who she had just kissed, or what he was about to do to make sure he saw her again. Emma Collins woke up and immediately regretted having lips. Not because the kiss had been bad, because it had been, too, easy to remember. Her head throbbed. Her mouth tasted like tequila and lime. She lay still, staring at the ceiling of her small Queens apartment, trying to replay the night in a clean order. Girls' night, the bronze lantern, Chloe chanting, "Do it!" Maya laughing so hard she almost fell off the booth. And then, him. Tall enough that Emma had to tip her chin up to meet his eyes. Broad enough to make the stool beside him look tiny. So serious he looked like he didn't know how to relax. The moment she kissed him had been quick, barely 3 seconds. But the way he looked at her after, that had lasted all night in her head. "It was a dare," she whispered, like saying it out loud would fix everything. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. 3 messages from Chloe, back to back. "Chloe, I have evidence." "Chloe, you were iconic." "Chloe, open the video." Emma groaned. "No." She opened it anyway. The video was shaky and loud. Emma watched herself walk toward the bar with a confident little swagger she didn't remember having. Then she leaned in and kissed him. She pulled back, smiling, acting like it meant nothing. But the man, him, didn't smile. He didn't flinch. He just watched her like her face belonged in his memory now. Emma paused the video on his expression and stared. Handsome, sharp, controlled, not friendly. The kind of man who didn't get teased by strangers in bars. So why hadn't he pushed her away? Why had he looked interested? Emma tossed the phone onto the bed and went to shower, trying to rinse the moment off her skin. It didn't wash away. At Hawthorne and Lane event planning, the office smelled like coffee and expensive candles the receptionist insisted were good for energy. Emma walked in with her tote bag and laptop and tried to look like a woman who hadn't kissed a stranger for entertainment. She made it 3 steps before Chloe appeared at her desk with a grin. "Good morning, kissing bandit," Chloe Bennett announced. Emma dropped her bag onto her chair. "Don't." "Oh, I'm doing it," Chloe said. "I'm doing it all day." Maya popped up from behind the desk divider like she'd been waiting. "I found him." Emma's stomach flipped. "You found him how?" Maya held up her phone. "I'm talented, and I was bored." On the screen was a grainy photo of the man from the bar standing outside a building. He was wearing a dark suit. 2 other men in suits were nearby, scanning the street like they were paid to. Emma frowned. "That looks like security." Chloe leaned in. "That looks like money." Maya zoomed in on the comments. "See? Someone wrote Mr. Russo." Emma's throat tightened slightly. "Russo?" Maya nodded, excited. "Dominic Russo. I found him in a charity gala list too. He donated, like, a lot." Chloe's smile turned wicked. "So you kissed a rich, scary man with bodyguards." "I kissed a stranger," Emma corrected. Chloe pointed at Emma's face. "You're blushing." Emma crossed her arms. "I'm not." Maya smirked. "It's okay. You're the main character now." Emma groaned and turned to her computer. "Can we please work?" Chloe sat on the edge of Emma's desk like she was settling in for a movie. "Fine. But if he texts you..." "He won't," Emma said quickly. Maya raised her eyebrows. "Confident?" Emma nodded. "Very." The universe must have heard her, because 30 minutes later her phone buzzed with an unknown number. Emma froze. The message was simple. Unknown. Emma Collins? Her heartbeat jumped straight into her throat. Chloe leaned over. "Who is it?" Emma whispered. "Unknown number." Maya's eyes widened. "Answer it." Emma stared at the screen like it might bite. "No." Chloe's grin sharpened. "Yes." Emma's thumb hovered, then she typed. "Emma." "Yes." "Who is this?" A pause. Then the reply. "Unknown. Dominic." Emma's stomach dropped. Chloe slapped a hand over her mouth to keep from screaming. Maya pressed her palms to her cheeks like she was watching a finale. Emma stared at the message, then typed. "Emma, how did you get my number?" This time the response took longer. "Dominic." I asked. "If that was inappropriate, tell me and I'll delete it. I won't contact you again." Emma's breath caught. That wasn't pushy. That wasn't arrogant. It was respectful in a way that made it worse, because it meant he was careful. She typed, "Emma, why are you texting me?" His reply came a few seconds later. "Dominic, because I didn't like the idea of never seeing you again." Emma stared at the words until they almost blurred. Chloe mouthed, "Oh my God." Maya mouthed, "He's serious." Emma forced herself to breathe, then typed the only honest question. "Emma, what do you want?" "Dominic, one dinner. If you're not interested after that, it ends. No pressure." Her pulse raced. Chloe whispered, "Say yes. For the plot." Emma shot her a look, then typed, "Emma, where?" Chloe's eyes lit up like fireworks. "Dominic, tomorrow, 7, somewhere quiet." Emma hesitated, then typed, "Emma, I'll meet you. No car." A pause. "Dominic, understood. I'll send the address. Thank you, Emma. Thank you." That word stuck in her chest all day. The next evening, Emma changed outfits 3 times. not because she wanted to impress him, because she didn't want to look like the girl who made drunk dares into life choices. She settled on a fitted black dress, a coat that made her look put together, and boots she could walk in. Chloe watched from the couch like a proud stage mom. "You're nervous." "I'm not," Emma lied, checking her lipstick once more. Maya handed her a glass of water. "Hydrate. Men like that are dehydrating." Emma laughed. "What does that mean?" Maya shrugged. "You'll find out." Chloe stood and adjusted Emma's collar. "Rules," Emma blinked. "Rules?" Chloe held up a finger. "If he gives you a bad vibe, you leave. No guilt." Emma nodded. Maya held up a finger. "If he's rude, you tell him you don't date men who act like happiness is embarrassing." Emma snorted. Chloe raised a second finger. "If he tries to buy your attention, stay unimpressed." Emma nodded again. Maya's smile softened. "But if he's actually kind, don't punish him for being intense." Emma paused, then grabbed her bag. "I'm leaving now before you both hypnotize me." The restaurant Dominic chose was elegant without being loud. No flashing signs, no packed crowd, no chaos. Just warm lighting, quiet music, and people speaking in low voices. The host greeted Emma politely, but when she gave her name, Emma Collins, the man's expression shifted just slightly, like the name meant something. "Miss Collins," he said. "Right this way." Emma followed him toward the back. She noticed two men near the entrance, dark suits, not eating, not smiling, watching the room. Her pulse ticked up. "Security," she told herself. "It's a fancy place. Calm down." Then she saw Dominic. He stood when she approached. In the calmer light, he looked even bigger than he had in the bar. His suit fit perfectly across shoulders that seemed too wide for normal life. His face was controlled, serious, but his eyes softened when they landed on her. "Emma," he said. Hearing her name from his mouth made her stomach flutter. "Dominic," she replied, keeping her voice steady. He pulled out her chair, careful and polite, then sat across from her. For a moment, they just looked at each other. Emma broke first. "This place is nice." Dominic nodded. "Quiet." "You like quiet?" she asked. "I like hearing what matters," he replied. Her throat tightened. She cleared it. "Okay, real question." Dominic's gaze stayed steady. "Ask." Emma inhaled. "Why did you text me?" He didn't pretend he didn't understand. "Because I kept thinking about you," he said simply. "And I don't like unfinished things." Emma tried to laugh it off. It was a dare. Dominic's eyes narrowed slightly. Not angry, just focused. Was it only a dare? Emma opened her mouth, then closed it, because she wasn't sure. The waiter came for drink orders. Emma asked for sparkling water. Dominic ordered water too. Emma raised an eyebrow. "No wine." "I don't like being less aware," Dominic said. "Of what?" Emma asked lightly. "Someone stealing your dessert?" His mouth twitched. "Possibly." She laughed, then stopped, realizing he wasn't entirely joking. Emma leaned forward a little. "People here seem to know you." "They do," Dominic said, calm. "And those men at the entrance?" she asked softly. Dominic glanced that way for half a second, then back to her. "They're here to keep the night calm." Emma's heartbeat picked up. "Because of you?" Dominic's gaze held hers. "Because I prefer control." Emma swallowed. "What do you do, Dominic?" He paused, choosing his words. "I run businesses," he said. "That's vague," Emma replied. Dominic nodded once. "Yes." Emma leaned in slightly. "I don't like vague." His eyes didn't move. "Then ask what you're really asking." Emma's breath caught. She lowered her voice. "Are you dangerous?" Dominic's face stayed calm, but his gaze sharpened. "I can be," he admitted. Emma's stomach tightened. Then he added quietly, "But not with you." That line hit harder than it should have. Emma tried to steady herself. "You don't even know me." "That's why I asked you here," Dominic said. Her voice softened without permission. "To study me?" "To understand why you did it," he said. "Why I kissed you," Emma whispered. "Yes." Emma held his gaze, then said the truth before she could stop herself. Because I wasn't scared, she admitted. Dominic went still. Emma's cheeks warmed. I was curious. The air between them tightened again, charged and quiet. Dinner continued, but something had shifted. Dominic asked real questions about her life, her work, her values. Emma answered honestly, surprised by how safe it felt to be listened to like she mattered. When they stepped outside afterward, the cold air hit Emma's cheeks, but her body still felt warm. Dominic stopped under a streetlight and looked at her. Now I ask if I can kiss you again, he said. Emma's heart jumped. This wasn't a dare. This was a choice. She swallowed. Why? Because I've been thinking about it since you walked away. Dominic replied. Emma nodded before she overthought it. Dominic stepped closer slowly, lifting his hand to her cheek, but stopping just short, waiting. Yes, Emma whispered. His palm cupped her face gently, warm, careful. Then he kissed her, slow, controlled, deep enough to make her knees soften. When he pulled back, he didn't let go right away. You're shaking, he murmured. I'm not, Emma whispered automatically. Dominic's gaze stayed on hers. You are. Emma swallowed. So are you. Dominic went still. For a second, he looked almost exposed. Then he exhaled slowly. Yes, he admitted. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He ignored it. It buzzed again. Dominic checked it, and Emma saw his jaw tighten, his eyes turning colder. Everything okay? She asked softly. Dominic slid the phone away. Yes. Emma didn't believe him. Dominic's gaze flicked down the street, quick, sharp, then returned to her. I want to see you again, he said. When? Emma asked. A pause. Soon, Dominic answered. Emma frowned. Vague again. Dominic reached into his jacket and handed her a plain card. No logo, no title, just his name and a number. Dominic Russo. Emma stared at it. What are you, Dominic? Dominic's eyes held hers, serious. If I tell you, he said quietly, will you let me finish before you decide what you think of me? Emma's heart pounded. What truth? She whispered. Dominic's gaze slid past her shoulder, scanning the street again. Then he looked back at her, voice low. The man you kissed in that bar, he said, doesn't get to live a simple life. Emma's throat went dry. Before she could ask what that meant, a black car rolled slowly to the curb across from them, stopping like it had been waiting. The passenger window lowered halfway. A man in a suit looked out, eyes flicking to Emma, then to Dominic. Dominic didn't move, but the air changed. The man spoke, respectful but urgent. Mr. Russo, we need a word. Dominic's hand slid behind Emma without touching her, a protective shield made of pure presence. He didn't look away from Emma when he answered. 1 minute, Dominic said calmly. Then his gaze dropped to her, intense and steady. This, he murmured, is exactly what I was trying to warn you about. Emma clutched the card, heart racing, because suddenly she wasn't just curious anymore. She was standing close to a world that clearly knew Dominic Russo's name, and now it had noticed hers too. Emma didn't move. She stood under the streetlight with Dominic's card clenched in her fingers, her heart pounding so hard it felt loud. Across the street, the black car idled like it belonged there. The passenger window was still down halfway, and the man inside waited with the patient confidence of someone used to being obeyed. Emma looked up at Dominic. He looked calm. Too calm, like this wasn't a surprise, just an interruption. This is exactly what I was trying to warn you about, Dominic had said. Emma's mouth went dry. Warn me about what? Dominic didn't answer immediately. His gaze flicked to the car, then back to her. He kept his voice low, careful. About my life touching yours, he said. Emma swallowed. Are they following you? They're waiting, Dominic corrected. That word didn't help. Waiting sounded planned. Emma's grip tightened around the card. Who are they? Dominic's jaw tightened slightly, and for the first time Emma saw hesitation in him, like he was deciding how much truth she could handle without running. Then he did something that surprised her. He reached out, not fast, not forceful, and gently took her wrist, just enough to guide her a few steps away from the street light and closer to the building wall. It wasn't a dramatic pull. It was controlled, quiet, protective. He let go immediately once they were out of the most obvious view. "You can leave right now," Dominic said. "No questions, no explanations. I'll understand." Emma's eyebrows lifted. "You're giving me an exit?" "Yes," he said simply. Emma stared at him. "Why?" Dominic's gaze held hers. "Because if you stay, it has to be your choice." Her pulse jumped. She hated that those words made her feel respected instead of scared. Emma glanced at the car again.